Democratic Congressman Jay Inslee of Washington State, Republican Congressman Joe Barton of Texas. Both are on the House Energy and Commerce Committee holding today's hearings. Gentlemen, how you doing? I see this issue in three different ways about whether or not it makes us more energy independent. I look at it from a financial perspective, too, whether or not it creates jobs or cuts, and also whether or not this could cost more Americans more money to pay for their own energy. Jay Inslee, start us off on the first here. What you're debating today, let me just get my question out here, then I'll let you jump on it, and then we'll get your counterpart here. How is this, the cap and trade legislation, how's that going to make us more energy independent?
Well, it's going to drive investment to the American businesses and kickstart these businesses that are growing all over the country. In San Diego, the Sapphire algae-based biodiesel company. Up in Seattle, the Ultra-Rock Engineered Geothermal Company. In my state, the Infinia Solar Energy Company. It's going to jumpstart these economies by essentially driving investment to them. And we are not going to allow China to get a jump on us on building electric cars.
So your point is that the dollars will go to these companies to help, build more energy. Joe Barton, what do you think about that?
Well, Jay is well-intentioned, but I think he's living in a dream world. They're closing a GM assembly plant in my district in Arlington, Texas that employs 2,500 people. And they're going to be out of work for at least 9 weeks. There are not going to be 2,500 green jobs producing electric cars created even in the next 10 years probably in America. Cap and trade is not necessary. It won't work. It hadn't worked in Europe. It's hugely expensive, and it could cost as many as 7 million jobs. It's not necessary. We shouldn't do it.
Joe Barton's jumping on topic number 2 already. I mean, his position is that's going to create job loss and not create job manufacturing here. And there's an example that Newt Gingrich, Jay Inslee, is going to provide today during his his testimony today, that talks about a cement plant, I think, in Belgium that had to go by these rules. And once the law was passed in Brussels, the company got up and moved to Morocco. Now, is that what we're going to see?
No, we're not going to do it the way Europe did. They made some big mistakes. We're going to do the way America did it when we solve the acid rain problem. And we are going to plug this loophole, this giant loophole in our anti-pollution laws, and simply prevent carbon dioxide, a major pollutant. We're going to do what we did in the acid rain program. And when we did this, the naysayers were just like my friend Joe Barton said, this is going to ruin the U.S. economy. In fact, we did it at 50% less cost and essentially twice as much reduction of acid rain, because we Americans know how to cap pollution, and we Americans know how to build new companies. So
your point is that it's not going to cost us
to solve these problems.
We're not going to lose jobs because of this. That's your answer.
Listen, this is a debate. This is a debate between the pessimists who don't believe Americans are smart enough to develop these companies, and the optimists like myself who've gone where I met yesterday with the Bright automotive company that's building a plug-in electric delivery vehicle. These companies can do this job if we
just let me get appear in the sentence. There it is. Joe Barton, you a pessimist?
No, I'm very optimistic about America, but I'll point out a few things that Jay didn't mention. Cap and trade didn't work in Europe. Emissions have gone up. They've not gone down. Man-made CO2 emissions in the United States is about 7 billion metric tons a year. At $100 a ton, that's $700 billion tax on the U.S. economy. The cement plant that Newt talks about in Europe, that cement plant, again, I have 3 cement plants in my district near Midlothian, Texas. You put that kind of a tax on their emissions for CO2, they're going to shut down and go to Mexico or go somewhere else. They're not going to stay here in the United States. Cap and trade will not work, and it's not necessary. But I'm with Jay on some of his alternative energy solutions. I'm
so you can find compromise on that. Here's what I'm trying to figure out, guys. I got about 30 seconds.
Just take cap and trade off the table. We can make a deal.
Is cap and trade even going to pass, Jay Inslee? Has it got the votes?
Yeah, I believe it will.
You believe but not sure?
Ask him to show you his vote.
Well, listen, you got to be optimistic, and we're going to solve this.
Jay, go.
We're going to solve this problem. In my bill, I'm working with Congressman Mike Doyle of Pittsburgh. We have a solution to the problem of cement and steel. We're going to give free permits to these companies that are energy intensive. We want to grow jobs in this country.
I've got to run. Joe Barton,
that's why we're going to give them free permits.
Is this going to pass?
They can make a backroom deal. They don't have the votes. They're not going to get the votes. They can.
We may not get Joe.
Hang on, Jay Inslee. Joe Barton, finish up.
But You know, if you start giving away these allowances, then you don't get the reduction. Now, the good news is, Jay and I agree on this. America is very strong. We're very innovative. We can work on alternative energy solutions. We can do something that helps America. But cap and trade is a huge negative.
All right.
Take it off the table, and then we can make a deal.
Joe Barton, thank you. Republican from Texas. Jay Inslee, Democrat from Washington State.
Thanks.
Gentlemen, thank you for the debate.